All right. Welcome, everyone. So excited to have you for Volunteer Community Week. Code Your Dreams was founded in 2018, but here in 2025, this is our first ever Volunteer Community Week, which was created by volunteers for volunteers. This should be a really fun session to get to know Code Your Dreams a little bit better, but also get to hear from some of our absolutely incredible volunteers. So let's just dive right into it. I do want to tell you that we're going to have a lot of time for questions. So definitely, if you don't have questions yet, start thinking of questions you might want to ask to some of our amazing volunteers. So, what is Code Your Dreams? We are a nonprofit. We're based in Chicago, but we have volunteers and students and teachers all over the world. Our mission is to build the next generation of diverse and community-minded leaders in technology. Why? We know that tech impacts all aspects of our lives. Technology is a powerful tool, but when it's not put in the hands of every community member and can create biases and harm for our communities. And so we really want to make sure that all of our amazing community members are able to, walking in their neighborhood, be able to see a problem and say, hey, I can build a solution for this instead of just having to wait on maybe these large companies who are solving a lot of our problems. We really want everyone to be able to have the toolkit and the confidence to be able to do that. So we work with students as young as kindergarten, all the way up through adults. Personally, the past few years, I've taught kindergarten after school, and it brings a lot of joy into my day. It's really fun. I could take all this time to talk about my kindergartners, but I'm not going to. I've also been teaching ninth grade during the school day. They are another kind of fun. Definitely a lot different from teaching kindergartners, but we teach from kindergarten to 12th grade as well as adults. That is quite the age range. We have a lot of curriculum, and the curriculum is a big part of what we do. In addition to teaching a lot of ages, we also teach in a lot of locations. We really look at where our students are. That could be in a school, a community center, a prison or a correctional facility, a reentry center, a library, a park district. I could continue to list the different learning spaces that exist, but that is to say that there are so many incredible learning spaces that we're able to use. When thinking about our students, we have a ton of amazing students with lots of different types of interests and experiences. And so we really like to meet our students where they are to be able to combine what they're interested in with computer science education. So all of our programming is very much student-centered, it's project-based. Students are thinking about their own communities and how they can build something to make an impact for their communities. So our learners include students from historically underrepresented and low-income communities. We have youth and adults with limited access to tech education, justice impacted individuals and returning citizens, people with disabilities, and communities affected by systemic barriers to education and opportunity. What really brings all of our programs together is this focus on access, belonging, and really empowering people to become creators of technology, not just users of it. So continuing on, volunteers are the heart of our organization. And so just so excited that we're at a time where we're able to really grow what our volunteer program looks like. We have a ton of different volunteer opportunities that might suit different interests or skill sets that you have. And so today we have some volunteers who sit at different um, points or parts of our organization. So some parts of that are teaching and mentorship. This is one of my favorite things to do, which is actually being there in the classroom, guiding our students through the curriculum, being a part of that community, and providing instruction in live classes. I do want to mention you do not need to be an expert computer scientist to teach our programs. I like to say that teachers must be learners. And so having a teacher who's learning alongside our students is an extremely powerful thing and teaches our students a lot. There's also curriculum development, so volunteers contributing to creating but also improving education materials. We have a ton of curriculum tracks from app development, web development, data science, robotics and dance, quantum computing. But there's also areas to really innovate and say, hey, I have an idea for something. Could we create a program around this thing? The next area are event support and workshops. While continuous programs like an after school program or a summer camp takes a lot of what we do, we also have one day workshops, events, weekend events that are a lot of fun and also require volunteer support. So we have events like Code Together Day. This is a day where we bring families together to learn. We have Hack for Accessibility, which is one of our biggest hackathons every year at Google in Chicago. And so event support and workshops is a big area as well, where you get to, be a part of the community and help make those events a success. Then we have operations and tech support, also a huge part of what we do. This tends to be a little bit more internal where you're providing support in different areas. This could be administration, it could be volunteer coordination, website management. We have a few different platforms that we've created and continue to develop, as well as tech assistance. As a technology education nonprofit, you can imagine there's a lot of operations and tech support that allows us to continue to operate every single day. The other area that I will highlight here is marketing and outreach to really enable us to continue to grow our programs and make sure students know that these types of free opportunities exist. So you can help promote Code Your Dreams as well as our programs to your community. So many different areas of impact that we're looking for support with. This could be an area where you say, hey, like I work in finance. I'd love to help on the finance side. Or you might say, hey, grant writing is something that I've always been interested in doing. I actually am exploring potentially careers in grant writing, right? So really think about kind of what are your goals and how would you like to grow with us as a volunteer? All right, so that is enough from me. Now I am so excited to introduce you to some of our amazing volunteers. I fear I probably didn't even introduce myself. My name is Bree. I serve as the executive director at Code Your Dreams, and I have the wonderful privilege of introducing you to Viviana Marquez.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you joining today on a Monday afternoon. So let me give you a little bit of context. I'm a machine learning and developer relations engineer. I work in San Francisco. I have around 7 years of experience in the tech industry. And I first met Code Your Dreams in early 2023. So it's going to be soon, I think, 3 years if my math is not incorrect. So during these 3 years, I've had the opportunity to work on different projects with Code Your Dreams. So I could tell you a little bit about some projects. So the first one, how I got introduced to Code Your Dreams, was through a project where we taught data science to a group of women in Burundi. So the very first thing I did was to Google Burundi, where Burundi is. So if you don't know, it's a country in Central Africa. It's actually called the heart of Africa because it's right in the middle of Africa, and the shape of the country is a heart, like a anatomical heart, not this one, but the actual anatomical heart. And this was a very, very beautiful experience. The way the program worked was that for 6 months, I was teaching data science to the students via Zoom. And then during the last 2 weeks of the program, we actually went to Burundi. So as you could imagine, there were a lot of challenges. The first challenge was cultural. My students were not very fluent in English, and I was not very fluent in French, but we made it work. So they would speak to me in French, and I would speak to them in English. So at the end of the program, we always joked that not only my students learned coding and data science, but they improved their English while I improved my French. So that was a fun experience. Something else that I value a lot out of this experience is that I truly believe it made me a better teacher. So for example, when we were there, we realized that there were a lot of power outages, and without power, then you wouldn't have computers. So I had to get clever and think of ways of how can I teach data science in a way that is practical without using computers. It also made me realize all the challenges that maybe are not visible via Zoom. So for example, some of our students were sharing a computer. They didn't have their own computer. Some other students, they weren't even sharing a computer. They were sharing a cell phone, and they were going through the different codes, like Jupyter notebooks via the cell phone. So it definitely made me a better teacher, because if I'm able to think about all these difficulties that hadn't even crossed my mind, then I'm capable of teaching any group of students. And it was really rewarding to see at the end of the program how the students mentioned that they didn't realize how much they could do with a computer. They thought computers were just to create Word documents, and they realized that they can use the power of data analysis and data science to truly have an impact in their country, in this case, Burundi. So that was my first interaction with Code Your Dreams. And as Brie was saying earlier, you can contribute at different stages, at different levels, at different expertise levels. So this one was right up in my alley, this project, because I'm a data scientist, so I was able to teach data science. But another project that I was involved with was I participated in one of the events that happened like one day. So that was the accessibility hackathon that was held at Google's Chicago's headquarters. And that was also really nice because here I didn't feel like the expert. I had never really thought at a hackathon per se, and I only knew tech. That was what I was contributing. I know how to code, but how can I help? So Code Your Dreams was really good at giving me guidance. Okay, so this is what we need to consider for this hackathon, especially that is an accessibility hackathon. So here are some of the most common challenges. So this is just to say that you don't have to be an expert volunteering. Nobody's an expert in volunteering. You can volunteer in different ways. And the other one was actually something that I thought about, and I'm really grateful that Code Your Dreams supported me in this initiative. I wanted to give a talk at the Colombian consulate regarding AI for Colombians in Chicago. So what is AI? Demystifying AI? How can you use AI without being an expert. And it was one afternoon, we spent an afternoon at the consulate just giving this talk open to all the Colombians in Chicago at the consulate. So I'm really grateful that Code Your Dream supported that initiative. And not only that, but afterwards, I saw that Code Your Dreams continued working with the consulate. So it's really nice that it doesn't stop with the program, but other opportunities open after each one of the initiatives. So that's been my experience at Code Your Dreams. I don't know, Brie, if you want me to mention something else, or I just give it back to you.
I forgot where my unmute button was. Thank you so much, Viviana. I mean, we have time, so if there's anything else you want to mention, you can, or you can leave it to Q&A, whichever.
I think the one thing I forgot to mention is something else that I'm very grateful to Code Your Dreams is that it made me kinder. Because as a minority in tech, I tend to be very aggressive. I need to negotiate my salary. I need to have a loud voice in the room. So I'm always like in this constant aggressive state, not in a bad way, in a good way. Like I'm a go-getter. But being part of Code Your Dreams made me realize, okay, I've been lucky enough to be in the tech industry, have really cool jobs. How can I give back? And how can I do it in a good way? It will be really hard for me to think about how can I reach out to people and do it. And Code Your Dreams is this vehicle that allows you to be involved in all these different initiatives according to your skill level, according to your taste. Like some people prefer to teach, some people prefer maybe to do the marketing, maybe some other people prefer to do the ops internally. And yeah, just being able to contribute back to the community. So I hadn't volunteered before in the tech space before Code Your Dreams, and I'm really happy about it. So 10 out of 10 recommend.
Thank you so much, Viviana. I appreciate you so much, and you are so inspiring. So it was wonderful to get to hear from you. And next, I will pass it to the amazing Melissa Gates.
Everyone. Do we want to pause right here and see if there's any questions for Viviana while the conversation's fresh? I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? You can feel free to unmute, or you can put anything in the chat as well.
Okay, I don't see anything. So I will just jump right in. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us. I am located in the Midwest. I was in Chicago, and I recently relocated up to Milwaukee. I have been with Code Your Dreams for about a year now. I think I got involved with Code Your Dreams because I responded to like a LinkedIn post, and I've always been like a lifelong volunteer. And I just went through like a period in my life where I was super busy and I missed it. I think COVID did that to me, and I just wanted, a little bit of connection. And so I responded to that. I had, previously known Brianne, and I know what great work she does in this organization. And so I'm a little bit opposite of Viviana. I sit more in the operations side and really supporting Brianne, and I work one-on-one with Natalia and Sophia. So recently, I think I took on the like volunteer coordinator lead. Um, so when I came in, just give a little bit of a backstory. When I came in, like my background is systems and processes. I'm in the tech industry, but I don't teach anything. I don't know how to code. I'm a Scrum. I'm a product manager, etc. But we just really needed to figure out how to work together, how to manage our digital assets, just how to organize them. So I could then create something to support Natalia and Sophia and the team that they created in like social media and marketing and communications. So we could then expand the outreach and take a little bit of that off of Brianne. So that has been successful. And so therefore I'm now expanding over into like a volunteer lead role. Um, I think for me, what has been really most impactful is I recently finished my master's program at Northwestern, and I chose to research, deep research on volunteering. And I focus on Code Your Dreams. And out of almost 300 entries, I looked at why people want to volunteer with Code Your Dreams, why you want to volunteer in general. And what resonated with me is not only do we want to make a difference, but I'm sure like every one of us here, we all have a story of like really how we got somewhere in our lives and like what is inspiring us to give back. So as Viviana said, you don't have to be an expert really in anything. I mean, there's just so much. I feel a lot of support, around me, but I would just encourage you to don't put yourself in a box. And like, this is an amazing community, and there's always something to be done. So I'm super busy in my career, but I think that the opportunities to volunteer here are like limitless and boundless. There's a lot of great events going on, etc. So, yeah, and I just want to like kind of cap it off and say like Natalia and Sophia and I have worked together like weekly, pretty consistently over the past year, and I think it's just Code Your Dreams has become, and Brienne too. We all meet together, but I think it's become more a part of my life, like just organically. Um, and so like yes, you can come in and volunteer for an event or come to a fundraising. That's amazing. But I think like it's really rewarding to see the greater impact that we can have together when we stay committed. So so yeah, thank you so much for considering it and coming and hearing our stories, and maybe we'll be talking to some of you soon. So I will pass it over to Natalia and Sophia.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. For us, it's super exciting to welcome you all into what the volunteer program looks like. I am from Chile. Natalia is from Bolivia. 3 years ago, I arrived to Chicago and I saw Brian in the event Woman Impact Tech. I saw what Code Your Dream was able to do and how powerful is the impact in the communities. So that's when we joined into your meeting in Tech Nexus, Briand, where last year you were trying to find different groups of volunteers, just like now. So we joined in the marketing team. We've been working, as Melissa said, every week trying to figure out processes, internal processes, right? So we can support Brian and Code Your Dreams to expose all the events so more people can come into the events and join as a volunteer, raising awareness about the donations. So we're really looking forward to bring more people into the team. We need more hands. You don't need to be an expert on marketing or design. Thank goodness we have ChatGPT now that support us all the way. We work a lot with Canva as well. So again, you don't need to know how to design. We just grab all the templates and we make the campaigns work in that way. What else can we share?
Um, well, I'm Natalia. I'm also part of the marketing team, marketing and comms. I think like I ended up here because like Sophia was like, hey, she knew that something was missing. Like I was looking for something. I was like working crazy hours. I was used to working retail, so my hours were crazy, but I needed this. I come from a nonprofit. I used to have my own profit back home, and then I was able to combine working at a digital agency. I combined nonprofit, my experience in nonprofit with marketing. Part of some of like my clients were like nonprofits like UNICEF. So I was very drawn to Code Your Dreams mission and vision because like, okay, it's tech. They work with kids. I know about that. I worked so many years with that. And it was like, okay, I think contributing whatever they're doing right now, it really helped me throughout this year to find what I really want, to actually find myself again. I know it sounds like very profound, but it's actually true. Um, right. Throughout also this year, like we were able not only like contribute and making the processes, marketing processes and operations processes better, but also I was able to get a little deeper into working with Bree and help her with the organization structure and just like to know, like to put everything in one place and sometimes like understanding how a nonprofit works, it's like mind changing. Like you're like doers, it's a constant do, 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 do. And sometimes you don't have the time or the people to stop yourself and then be like, okay, I need to organize all of these areas. And we were able to do that for Bree. And that was like very rewarding to see that now. We were a few months ago, we were like working on our like annual report and realized that we've done it on that. We didn't only do like social marketing posts. We were like working on the structure. We were working on like processes, that those processes are going to be the ones that maybe you can improve. And that's the whole point, that we're creating the foundations. I mean, working on the foundation that Bree had, we improved that. That way you guys, whoever joins Code Your Dreams can improve that and so on. And that's what this is about, right? And I learned so much. I met Sophie. We started working together. We were just friends, and we started working together. And now we have a partnership. So I think that became like really good. So I think Code Your Dreams is a really great platform for you guys to learn whatever you want to learn, and in different areas too. Like I learned so much from Melissa. Her structural mind is impressive, and like they're very like admirable women so to work with. I think you're muted, Bree.
Okay, it took me a very long time to try to figure out how to unmute. Thank you all so much. It's just a literal gift to be able to work with you all, and I'm just so happy. Um, I will pause here and see if anyone has any questions. I'm gonna be honest, somehow I'm really having trouble with Zoom today. So maybe if like Melissa or Sophie, or if you see anything in the chat, let me know. But also anyone, feel free to unmute.
Sure, I'll let you know, Bree.
Hi, I'm Sheetal Chaudhary. And thank you, Viviana, for sharing about this event on LinkedIn. Since I attended your classes at Berkeley Extension, AI/ML classes, I knew that if you recommended it, it must be really good. And that's how I decided to join this session. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your experiences. It's really encouraging. And I would really love to join the community and, I mean, Code Your Dream community and give back to our society and community. So I would like to know, how do I enroll for this?
Great question. So what I'll be sure to do is we have a form, and so you'll be able to put your information into that form, identify where you're interested in volunteering, and there are two options. So you can either be a volunteer lead or part of a volunteer team. So the structure of our new volunteer program is we have different areas that you can volunteer. So let's say an example is, I think there's a slide here. Let's say an example is newsletter. We'll have a volunteer lead on newsletter and then a volunteer team that they'll work with. So if you're interested in leading and really creating a strategy and leading a group, then you would select being a volunteer lead. If instead maybe you're interested in being a part of that volunteer team, then you would decide either way. We do have a document that's linked in the volunteer form that really delineates what is the difference,
Mhm.
including time commitment for volunteer lead versus volunteer team. If you do select that you want to be a volunteer lead, I will be reaching out to you with my calendar for us to have a meeting so that you can ask any questions, really clarify what this might look like. And we're still recruiting and slotting individuals in for those volunteer lead positions. If you have I'll send the follow-up as well with that form for everyone that signs up for this event, so that you make sure to have it. And Melissa?
Hi, sorry to interrupt you. Just for everyone, I did put the link to the form in the chat. There's actually three options. We hope you pick one of the two, right? To be a team lead or to be a part of the team. But also to like if you just want to volunteer for an event or a one-time um, thing, or as your schedule allows, you can certainly indicate that as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
thank you for that.
for sure.
Um, and then as for next steps, so I'm continuing to have meetings with those who indicated that they want to be a volunteer lead. And then our goal is that we're going to have everyone come together and we'll really start this volunteer program rolling in January,
Wow.
which is going to be here in like the blink of an eye. So,
Yep. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
yeah, thank you so much for that question. Um, does anyone else have any questions?
Folks,
I can.
my name's Arushi. I'm in the New York area, and I assume that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Audio Dreams is based out of Chicago primarily. So I am like hearing that there are like things that you guys do online and maybe at other locations. I'm just interested in knowing the scope of your like programs and events, um, and just how localized is it in Chicago versus say, I don't know, I guess worldwide. I didn't even think of that, but.
Great question. So we were founded out of Chicago. We have a small office in Chicago, and because we are based in Chicago, we have a lot of our events in Chicago, like our larger signature events like Code Together Day and Hack for Accessibility. However, we have programs that are all around the world. So, for example, Viviana was in Burundi, and we now have a program where anyone can start their own Code Your Dreams chapter, to really try and just lower the barrier to anyone who wants to start any sort of tech program locally. And so what that means is that every month we just have more and more programs that are in locations all around the world. Um, I will also add to that. That a lot of our volunteer roles can be fully virtual. So for example, you're in New York, our data lead is also based in New York. So all of our volunteer meetings do take place over Zoom to make sure that we're accommodating everyone who are in different locations. But I will say we do just have a lot happening in Chicago because that is our hometown. So you will see a lot of things happening, especially when it comes to signature events. A lot of those do happen in Chicago.
Hey, thank you. I'm excited to sign up.
I'm excited for you to sign up. These are great. And I maybe saw was there anything in the chat?
That was probably just me. I dropped my LinkedIn. If anyone has any questions for me, if you think of afterwards, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to connect with you afterwards. I do see a question.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jess John, and I've been part of Cody Dream since 2023. I joined as a student, as a high school student, and I'm now in college. And I'm now signing up to be a volunteer. And I have a question for the volunteers here. And my question is, what advice would you give to someone who wants to quickly become a strong contributor in this organization?
My advice would be to talk and say, "Hey, I want to volunteer." That's pretty much my experience with Bree. So I think that's one of the things I really like about Code Your Dreams is that if you show up and you say, "Hey, I want to volunteer," they're really good at guiding you. Okay, we have this program. Do you want to volunteer as part of this program? The other advice would be to subscribe to the newsletter. So I'm subscribed to the Code Your Dreams newsletter, and sometimes there are opportunities that come through that way. And then if it aligns with my interests and skills and schedule, I just reach out. And I guess the other good channel to be in is the Slack channel, where Bree is constantly posting information in there. Maybe Sophia, Natalia, or Melissa have something else to add.
I would recommend, besides all the things that Viviana said, to be successful at this job would be communication, communication, communication. I think that's the most important thing for me. Like, whoever you're working with, within whichever department, if you have like someone to report to, like this could probably most of the time is free, but from now maybe yeah, you're gonna have like some leads or whatever you want to do. But yeah, or between your other volunteer members, like you, I think that's good.
Super important being proactive, autonomous. Here, we're all trying to do something great for Code Your Dreams. So, even though we're trying to find a leader in a team, we can all be leaders in our own role. I would say that's super important. As Natalia said, communication. If you are not getting to a timeline, communicate it. We're a team. We can always help each other. Yeah, I would say that.
For me, I echo all of that, but it's really understand what you have to give, right? What your commitment can be and what motivates you, what you're passionate about, because that just, like you said, I'm like it's kind of a weekly thing for me. It's integrated into my life, and I think it becomes a little more effortless and fun when you can connect with people and you just have those boundaries up to say like, I'm going to commit to this and, just become a part of a team. And I think it all kind of comes together, organically. And if you just keep showing up, um, consistency is key, just like anything. You become stronger. So I'd love to have you.
Something else I want to add is also maybe you think, and I'm not saying you specifically, but in general, I always have heard people saying, like, oh, I don't feel qualified. I don't think I have enough skills. And the reality is that a lot of times you know more than what you think. And you realize that through the volunteering experiences, because then you're teaching people that are just beginning their journey, or well, I say teaching because I always teach, but I'm sure it's the same case with operations or marketing or whatever role you want to take. So just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and especially that this is a safe space with Code Your Dreams. No one is gonna scold you or say, why are you not doing this correctly? If anything, they're gonna guide you on how to put those skills that you already have to good use.
I love that. And I want to echo that too, that this is a safe space to really explore and learn and like figure out yourself. I feel like I've met my favorite people through Code Your Dreams, and I've also just grown so much as a person. So, just like background on myself, I knew nothing about business or nonprofits. When I started this organization, and it's been a ton of just learn and fail and grow and meet people and build. And I feel like that's kind of the beauty of impact, is that all it takes is having a passion for something, seeing a problem in your community, and just trying to figure out with others, how can we make a difference? And so I'll also echo Melissa to like really take advantage of this community, because like the people here, that's our superpower. And I've learned so much from our volunteers, and I've just built the best relationships with people that now it's like, wow, this is such a powerful community that, if you have a goal and, take advantage of the people here, and, you can just, so we can go so far together, is what I'll say. Um, any other questions? Again, I'm like, I cannot find the chat, just in case there's anything there.
I don't.
I've got one more question.
Awesome.
Okay, so are there any common mistakes new volunteers make that can be avoidable or to learn from?
Hmm. I would say just like the biggest thing is communication. So, and I know this is something I've experienced as a volunteer, which is, I've, in the past had the problem of overcommitting, and then I'm so afraid to say anything, and I have so much guilt. And so I would say, if you, commit to something, but then you're encountering challenges, or you realize, what, this month is going to be really, really hard for me, um, just, let everyone know, right? Like things happen in life. Everyone has busy lives. And so, just communicating how things are and any challenges you're having, that's the best thing that you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
For me, it's the same one about overcommitting by accident. And I completely agree. Communication is key. As I was saying earlier, it's a safe space. Nobody's going to get upset at you. Just be open and like, hey, things have changed now. I have less time or I have more time. That way, everyone is aligned.
Yeah, and I'd say if you have an idea, like definitely share it. I feel like so many volunteer ideas have become full-fledged programs. And yeah, I think that's something that's also really exciting. Melissa, I saw you unmute too.
I was just going to say, in addition to all of that, to kind of go back to the question, common mistakes, I think showing up here is just like there really aren't any mistakes. We're just here to learn and grow. Yeah, so safe space. I've learned so much. If anything, you're gonna have an awesome network. You're gonna walk away with friendships, even if your time decreases. So there's really, in my opinion, no mistakes.
I love that. All right. Um, so, if you do still have any questions, please feel free to unmute or put them in the chat. As we get close to the end here, I do want to just go over some of the open positions that we still have. So a few of the teams here, we have our marketing and communications team. We still have open for our leads, graphic design, PR, and photography and media. Our newsletter and volunteer engagement roles, I'm very happy to say, are filled. So that's amazing. But of course, you can be on the volunteer team there. When it comes to the programs team, we have curriculum, correctional education support, tech/platform support, and software engineering open for community, for volunteer leads, although you can volunteer team is open for all of these. And then finally, we do have both our fundraising support and community partnership leads open. So lots of really exciting places to join, either as a lead or on the team. And please share this out if you have anyone in mind that you're friends with or work with. We'd love to have them on the team. To talk through some of the volunteer leadership expectations and benefits. So we have the expectations first as a volunteer lead. So those individuals will be actively attending and participating in bi-weekly leadership meetings. So those will be bi-weekly over Zoom. These individuals will have their volunteer teams. So you'll be leading those support volunteers and activities in your area of focus. You get to be really creative as well as really bounce ideas off of the leadership team. You'll be communicating with the Code Your Dreams team as well as other leads in meetings, on Slack, or over email. You'll have the opportunity to track your progress and share your updates, wins, anything that you need. And this is really exciting. It's really awesome to be able to see at the end of the month or at the end of the year, everything that you were able to do. And including those leadership meetings, you'll be committing somewhere between 3 to 5 hours per week as a volunteer lead. On the other side, as being on the volunteer team, or no, sorry. I am totally reading the slide wrong. Some of the benefits of serving as a lead. One of the biggest parts is leadership. So, really being able to grow as a leader, gaining that experience, and getting more experience with project management and some of those tools. You'll receive professional references from Code Your Dreams leadership. You'll be able to build your portfolio with real world mission driven projects. You'll, of course, network with a diverse community of educators, technologists, and change makers. And this one is huge. You're going to play a meaningful role in shaping the impact of a grassroots nonprofit. So that is the end of the session that we have for you all today. I want to thank you all so much for joining us and having an interest in being a part of our team. I want to give a huge, huge thank you to our incredible, inspiring, extraordinary volunteers, Viviana, Natalia, Sophia, and Melissa. You all are incredible, and I appreciate you so much. If anyone does think of any questions, number one, I really encourage you to follow our wonderful volunteers on LinkedIn. And you feel free to, ask anyone any additional questions. You'll be sure to receive an email from me with next steps. You'll get this recording. I know Melissa also put the form in the chat. I'll be sure to share that form as well in the email. This was such a pleasure getting to be with you all today. Thank you so much for being here, for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.